I just think that's a very good point.
It makes national identity even more complex.
It is.
We're going to talk about a controversial subject now. Popularity of veganism and veganuary this year. That was when January became the month where you could try being vegan. It seems more and more of us spending money on vegan products, plant-based diets trending online. It's become ever more accepted lifestyle choice. Lots of restaurants offering vegan menus, whereas once upon a time, if you went in, you just got a salad.
Well, one vegan activist wants to take things a lot further. He says that milk is murder, equating breeding animals for milk with mass atrocities, because he says they suffer barbaric deaths.
That activist is this man, Joey Carbstrong, who joins us now alongside chef Anthony Worrell-Thompson, who says consuming dairy is a natural part of our diet. Very good morning to you. Now, people will be familiar with the phrase meat is murder.
Yes.
And even that in its time was a controversial statement. But to say milk is murder is taking that quite far, isn't it? Lots of people, vegetarians for instance, who will happily consume dairy products and not think that they're doing anything wrong.
Well, that's true. They're disconnected from the process. I mean, 50% of the cow flesh in this country comes from spent dairy cows. So all of the animals in the dairy industry will end up in a slaughterhouse. So they'll be killed against their will.
So a sort of efficient use of those animals then?
It doesn't make it moral whether it's an efficient use of an animal. If we were talking about dogs in those slaughterhouses, we'd never say that that's moral.
But we have a completely different view, don't we, towards our domestic animals than we do our farm animals.
We care about our dogs and cats at home, but we'd never subject them to the abuse that we do to cows.
Yeah, but Joe, this is the food chain. You know, the spider eats the fly, the cat eats the mouse. You know, a tiger would eat us if we got in his way. That is what's been going on for 8,000 years. We've been drinking milk.
Exactly,
and that is, our bodies are actually mutated to produce an enzyme called lactase, which allows lactose, which is the sugar in milk, to be digested by our gut. So our bodies...
Most human beings are actually lactose intolerant. And to say it's the food chain...
No, not Europeans and Americans. Yes, China and Japan... yeah, they are lactose intolerant, but that's not part of their diet.
You made a point about a food chain. In the environment, animals eat out of necessity. They eat each other out of necessity. We have alternatives now. 30 different plant-based milks in the supermarket.
And very expensive they are too. You know, we need to give
$2 for soy milk.
It's still quite a lot of money compared to milk.
Have you tried drinking tea with soy milk?
Delicious. Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried almond milk, rice milk, coconut milk?
All of it was tea.
Why are we?
None of it was with the natural
You talk about the fact that we're not tolerant to dairy.
Why are we still breastfeeding from a cow? As full-grown adults, why are we still breastfeeding? We stopped breastfeeding as a toddler.
But you've suggested nut milk, soy milk. Plenty of people are intolerant of those.
Well, there's rice milk. There's plenty of other different milks, not just nut milk.
None of those contain the same nutrients that dairy milk does.
Where does calcium come from? Plants, originally. How does the cow get the calcium in their body? Plants. We can get calcium from plants.
Yeah,
what have you got against plants? Plants are living things.
They're not sentient. They don't have a central nervous system. Do you think stabbing a puppy dog in the throat is the same as cutting up a carrot?
How do you know what plants feel?
Because they don't have a brain or a central nervous system. Do you accept they're living things? They're living, but they're not sentient.
You don't mind slaughtering living plants?
Piers,
because they don't feel pain.
Really
if you're in hospital and you're paralysed, what do they call you? A vegetable.
You think my argument is weak?
I think your argument is weak.
I'm making a fatuous point. I think the argument about milk is murder is a fatuous one. And my problem with the vegan movement at the moment is a lot of people might be tempted to take up a more vegan-based diet.
Yeah.
But they hate this kind of vegan terrorism that's going on.
Take the vegans out of the picture.
Milk is murder.
Take the vegans out of the picture. It's about the animals. Are you against animal cruelty?
I'm against animals.
Of course. It's not cruel to bolt.
I'm against human cruelty.
Me too. I don't kill humans either, but to kill animals for a product we don't need is cruel.
But that's your point of view. You have every right to be a vegan, as I have every right to be a meat eater. And you can do that. But please don't thrust the message down everyone's throats that we all have to change to veganism.
The only beings who are being thrusted are the animals who are being forced into slaughterhouses for an unnecessary reason. You just said that you're against animal cruelty, so this is your belief.
But animal welfare standards mean that we are supposed and expected to treat those animals well. And unfortunately, as part of the natural human food chain, we do eat animals. We just don't chase them down and kill them anymore.
What happens in nature is not moral. Lions kill out of necessity. Just because animals kill in nature because they have to doesn't make it moral. There's a difference between what's natural and what's
So if the cows weren't taken to slaughterhouses but just stayed in fields and were milked that way, you'd have no problem with it?
if the cows were left alone and stopped being forcibly impregnated, so we have this high population...
My question is, if they were just in the fields and they were milked every day and they weren't...
No.
Would you be fine with that?
We shouldn't be exploiting animals, period.
Right, so your issue is not really about milk, is it? Your issue is just anything to do with animals you've got a problem with, right?
Using animals and viewing them as products is a moral issue.
But what is wrong with a cow being milked for milk?
It's unnecessary.
Why
do you need breast milk?
Joey, it's not...
breast milk from a cow? You're not a baby cow, bro.
It is not unnecessary now.
You're not a baby cow. You're a human being.
Guys, it's not
I'm
unnecessary.
certainly not a baby cow, bro.
It's not unnecessary nowadays, actually.
You haven't been called.
But Joey, cows are being produced now where, unfortunately, in your view, the milk keeps on being produced. If you turned all those animals out into the wild and let them get on with it, which you can't possibly do, it's totally impractical.
They're not wild animals.
They would die.
They're domesticated.
Yeah, but
they're
exactly.
selectively bred and
But you've got
domesticated.
millions and millions of things. What are you going to do with them? What is your practical stance?
I'll give you an answer to that. As more and more of us go plant-based and vegan, gradually we'll stop forcibly breeding all these animals into existence, and the numbers will slowly decline, and then we'll only have a small amount of numbers at the end. The world isn't going to go.
Joey, are you a man of peace? Is what this really boils down to?
Am I a man of peace? Yes, I am.
You don't believe in harming other human beings?
I don't believe in harming other human beings or animals, no.
So in September 2011, you were arrested when police found a loaded, sawn-off pump-action
rifle.
rifle.
Character attack.
No,
Has this got anything to do with the topic at hand?
Okay.
It's a character attack.
It's called a
on my
fact.
part.
It's called a fact.
Okay.
Were you found with a pump-action rifle down your trousers?
Would this be relevant if I was speaking up against dog abuse or child abuse?
I'm asking you a question. Is that true?
It's true. I was incarcerated for something I did in my
Police
past.
found 29 bullets, right, as well, and a flick knife.
This is no way to have a debate on dairy.
Everyone makes
Wait a minute.
This is a character
I'm
attack.
simply asking a question.
Okay.
You didn't expect to be defending him, did you?
Was your intention with the bullets and the rifle and the flick knife to cause harm to human beings?
Okay, let me answer that. I used to consume animal products 3 times a day as well, so I was harming animals and humans, okay? But I changed my life around and now I'm vegan. Now, just because I did something wrong in the past doesn't mean I can't do something right now. How does that justify your abuse of dairy cows so you can have milk in your coffee?
It seems to me you were a pretty violent guy.
I used to be.
Yeah? And
you can't turn your life around and do something good for animals?
Everyone is entitled. Piers, leave them alone.
Let him go.
You are entitled to it. And again, I come back to this.
What have I done
I realise that veganism, it's not my thing, but I realise it's a growing thing.
It is.
It's not your thing?
My problem is this kind of vegan
definitely not
terrorism that goes on.
He's against animal cruelty. So
everyone that drinks milk, according to you, is a murderer.
No, not consciously. They don't know. But now you know what happens to animals in slaughterhouses so you can have milk in your coffee. And what are you going to do?
A lot of cows that get milk don't go to slaughterhouses.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
You don't know nothing about the industry, my friend.
I don't know nothing
about it. They all get slaughtered. They all get slaughtered.
Joey, the trouble is, I think even if Piers does know what happens, that for lots of people that's not a problem.
That's fine.
Because that's part of our farming industry, which, you know,
I used to live as a hypocrite for many years. Okay? I've seen that animals were being abused and chopped up on my plate, and I felt hypocrisy in my heart. What we have to do is
lots of people don't see. I personally don't eat meat, but lots of people don't see it as hypocrisy.
I admire your views. I love vegan people who want, because they are the only pure people. Vegetarians aren't pure. If you want to get rid of animal cruelty, you go vegan, and that is right.
You do too, though, don't you?
But I want to get. I will progress. I'm eating more plant-based diets, but I still like my meat.
Chef, you know how to make things out of plants.
I do.
Are slaughterhouses necessary?
All right.
Yes, at the moment they are.
Joey, do you renounce? I mean, you've talked about the fact it's unfair to launch a personal attack on you because of your past, but do you renounce all violence against, for instance, the farming industry or butcher shops?
I've never advocated for violence to spread a peaceful message.
So anything
I've said in the past, I've changed my advocacy. When I first went vegan, I was quite angry about what was happening to animals, and rightly so. If they were dogs, you could see the anger that the majority.
So in March 2016, right, when alongside the video entitled "Ethical Hunters Deserve a Bullet in the Head," you wrote, "I hope one of these bleeps accidentally shoot one of their own family members in the face."
Keyword.
That was 2 years ago.
2006.
2 years
when
ago.
I first went vegan and I seen people hunting innocent animals. If they were hunting dogs, have you ever seen dog cruelty videos in the comment section?
But you just said you renounce violence, so you you wouldn't say that.
This is 2018. I've changed my advocacy. When I first
another video in 2016, only 2 years ago. Another video in 2016. Australian dairy farmers should do the cows a favour, kill yourselves. All right.
Hey, do I stand by that statement? I've publicly renounced those.
Mate, that was 2 years ago. All right, we've got to leave it there. Character
attacks.
Thank you very much indeed. ITV has made many of you winners in the last year, and you can be joining them with a chance to win £250,000.